Hello mathematicians, I hope after watching this video and getting a little bit of practice in, you can say I can solve and graph absolute value inequalities. Let's look at a couple examples here. So before we get into our examples actually, let's just talk about kind of the process before we get too far into it. So kind of like when we're solving absolute value equations, how we set up two different equations, one with being equal to the positive value, one being equal to the negative value, we're going to set up compound inequalities when we are working with absolute value inequalities. And whenever we see this less than sign, this means an and. It means an and compound inequality. And whenever you see a greater than, it means an or. All right, this when we're dealing with absolute value inequalities. So the less than symbol means and the greater than symbol means or. Okay, so now let's look at our examples here, okay? So we're looking at the absolute value inequality of x minus 4 is less than 11. So this is a less than. So we get the two inequalities of x minus 4 is less than positive 11 and x minus 4. Okay, and now this is the tricky part. This is going to have negative 11 over here, okay? But it's kind of like we multiplied it by a negative, okay? So it's kind of like we multiplied this 11 by negative 1, okay? And we know that whenever we multiply or divide by a negative 1, that the inequality symbol flips for us. So our compound inequality is going to be x minus 4 is less than 11 and x minus 4 is greater than negative 11. So if we wanted to, we could solve these individually. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to go x minus 4 is less than 11, all right, and greater than negative 11, okay? So you can set up a compound equality like this, or if you wanted to just solve them individually right here, you could have done that as well. So I'm going to add 4. So negative 7 is less than x is less than 15. Okay, so that would be my answer to this inequality here. Let's go ahead and graph this. So let's find 15 on our number line. 15 is right here. I'm going to leave that open because it's less than 15. Let's find negative 7. So we got negative 7 over here and 15 over here, and both of them are going to be open. And we're just going to connect the two. And this would be the graph to this absolute value inequality right here. Let's look at one more example. So I'm given negative 5 times the absolute value of x minus 8 plus 8 is less than or equal to negative 7. So I need to get this absolute value by itself. I kind of treat this like one big variable, so I subtract 8 from both sides. So that gives me negative 5 times the absolute value of x minus 8 is less than or equal to negative 15. So now I need to divide this by negative 5. And when I divide this by negative 5, remember, I need to flip my inequality right here. It gives me the absolute value of x minus 8 is greater than or equal to, and I had to flip it here, 3. Okay, so it is greater than or equal to, so greater than, that includes greater than or equal to, just to clarify. So this is going to be an or compound inequality. So that gives me x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 3, or x minus 8, and now this is going to be a negative 3 here. So whenever I have my negative value, now I need to flip this inequality. So x minus 8 is less than or equal to negative 3. So let's go ahead and just solve these individually. So we get x is greater than or equal to 11, or x is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so x is greater than or equal to 11, or x is less than 5. Let's look at, let's graph these really quick here. So I find 5 right here. I know x is less than or equal to 5. So I fill that in, and it is less than, so I'm moving to the left over here. All right, and then I have x is greater than or equal to 11. So I fill in this dot right at 11, and it's greater than, so I'm moving to my right. So this would be what my graph would look like for this absolute value inequality. So that is it for our video. So I hope after watching this and getting in a little bit of practice, you can say I can solve and graph absolute value inequalities.